Welcome to the 43rd running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Last year in Formula Continental, Ricardo Vassemer takes the lead, has things going his way until lap 16, gets caught up in lap traffic in dramatic fashion. Vassemer out at the next corner, obviously disappointed. That hands the lead to young Nicky Coelho, who never looks back, takes the checkered flags, and takes the SCCA National Championship in Formula Continental. Coelho back, and he is strong in 2006. Formula Continental competitors run the gamut in age, experience, and goals, but the one goal of all of the drivers here this weekend is to win that Formula Continental National Championship. Nicky Coelho wishes he could have taken his 2005 championship and moved on to some pro racing, but things don't always work out, so Coelho is back in Formula Continental and back with a vengeance. He won the Central Division, dominated the June sprints, and would like another national championship to his credit. Cole Morgan won the 2006 Cooper Tires Gold Cup Championship. He also won the Southeast Division Championship with 4 victories. What would a national championship mean to this young man? Just about everything. And Bill Allman won the Midwest Division with 2 victories. The X up his sleeve, he's from right here in Topeka. Local track knowledge is definitely going to come into play.
You couldn't have a national championship in Formula Continental without this man. Dave Weitzenhoff is starting his 19th try. Now he's a 7-time national champion already, and he comes to this event with 4 wins. Okay, he might be the oldest driver, but he's also the most experienced, and I think that experience will pay off. In contrast is Chris CARLSON. He comes to the runoffs for his first time ever. Comes in with 1 win on the season, but that doesn't make any difference. One thing I can tell you for sure is, for Chris CARLSON, this is an experience he will never forget.
The SCCA National Championships, the 43rd running, and today it's Formula Continental. Winged rocket ships, and it should be a great battle here. Heartland Park, Topeka, Kansas, the first time the SCCA National Championships have come to Heartland Park, and it should be a good one, just like I said. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Till, along with Dorsey Schrader. We'll bring you the action from the booth. John Bisognano, Jim Trado will be our eyes, our ears, our conduit down to the action in pit lane. And Heartland Park has come a long way. Track owner Ray Irwin done a lot to improve this facility, and he has put a gym out here for the national championship. We talk about a new facility for the runoffs. Dorsey, take us around.
Gone is the drag strip. What used to start back here, this is a new straightaway, some 1,700 feet long, and it's got a kink in it right through here. You're going to have to watch for congestion as you get into turn 1, which is a good passing zone. Another one here in 6, always trouble when you get up into the braking zone for turn 8.
And Dorsey, Formula Continental, it's a class that is so fun to watch, and it's got professional implications. You can move on from here.
Yeah, it's one of those most competitive without question, and it really takes a good balance on the race car.
Well, that's the story overall. The overview. For more, let's head down straight to pit lane and John Bisognano.
Well, Russell Lindman, this is the car that he finished 5th in 3 years ago, and he's starting 5th here at the SCCA Runoffs this year. He had 6 starts this year and 4 wins. He feels very comfortable. Maybe a little bit of advantage that he has is that he's also running Formula Mazda. He ran here in September and finished 2nd. For more on these beautiful cars, let's go down to my pit partner, Jim Trado.
And Vince, I go back to 14th with Brian Bellardi, who's out of the Milwaukee region, actually. He's got a couple things on his mind. Finish well here and get on an airplane. This real estate developer is big time into high school football coaching. He's got a Marquette University high school game to coach tonight, so he's got a job to do once this race is over. Guys?
All these drivers have a lot of work to do, and you see a driver late getting to the grid. It's the number 88 saying, come on guys, get me out there. Tim Miner waiting to get his helmet on, get into the competition. The important thing, Tim Miner starts 3rd.
He didn't have his helmet, he didn't have his gloves. That's what he was waiting for.
Drama always at the runoffs. We're seeing it here in Formula Continental before we ever even see the drop of the green. Miner trying to get things sorted out. Formula Continental. We'll come back to all the action that is the SCCA runoffs right here from Heartland Park, Topeka, right after this. Stick with us. The SCCA National Championship Runoffs Formula Continental, another car having problems on the grid. 7-time SCCA National Champion. Dave Weitzenhoff. Dorsey, how does something like this happen?
I just don't understand this at all. I mean, these guys have been here all week. Dave Weitzenhoff, one of the most experienced guys without question. His 19th runoffs. We don't know what the problem is yet. I'm sure we'll hear soon.
Tim Miner, we saw him earlier, the number 88 car, late there trying to get his helmet on. You see his crew members strapping him in. Miner was to start from the 3rd spot on the grid. Weitzenhoff was to start 11th. Be interesting to see. I don't think the stewards will let him back in their grid positions, will they, Dorsey?
No, I don't believe they will. And I don't know how this could have happened. Well, I mean, you don't have your helmet and your driving gloves and stuff, and you're 3rd on the grid there that both of them go now to try to rejoin the field. But I doubt that they'll let them do anything but get to the back.
The field underway. They've completed almost a lap. They're going through the tunnel turn. That's turn 8 and 9 on this racetrack, heading to turn 10. So they've completed almost a lap. Big drama. Take a look at the starting grid. Nicky Coelho, defending champion, starts from the pole. Almost 8/10 of a second, just over 8/10 of a second he has in hand over Cole Morgan. You see Tim Miner was supposed to roll off 3rd. Justin Pritchard, he has a national championship in the class, will roll off 4th. On down through the rest of the top 10.
Looks like they're holding the 2 cars at pit lane, and I'm sure what that means is they're going to make them restart or start the race from pit lane after everyone else gets the green flag.
Dave Weitzenhoff was supposed to roll off in 11th. As I said, he certainly has experience. 7 times he's won the national championship, and then through the rest of the 25 cars that make up the Formula Continental starting grid.
Nope, they're going to let him go and rejoin at the tail of the field. They're going to send him out right now, which is smart. At least they'll have 1 lap to get their tires warmed up. Everybody else has got 2.
I was going to say, they only have 1 lap to get that done, so they're not going to be able to get a lot of temperature in the tires. So big drama plus here at the start.
The weather here at Topeka has gone way downhill. It's only maybe 50 degrees. It's been in the 30s as we woke up this morning, and 40s. It might not even be 50 yet, so warming these tires up is not going to be an easy task.
Most of the drama comes after the drop of the green. This has come before the drop of the green. For more stories from pit lane, let's get to John Bizignano.
You know, Dorsey, I just want to emphasize what you said earlier. This is Formula Continental. Around the world, it's known as Formula 2000. This is a universal series all around the world that people can do well in, and they can take that as a credential for going ahead into other types of racing. So these young lions out here who want to do well, they look at it as an entry into the pro ranks if they can finish in the top 5. Let's go down to my pit partner, Jim Trudeau.
And Bez, I'm still in the false grid. As a matter of fact, Mark Belling had some issues with his equipment. The 3rd driver in this class not to be able to get his car fired and ready. He just climbed back in the car. They're getting the belts back on him. They had a radio issue. They tried to get all the equipment tucked in so Mark Belling could continue on, but he's still back here on the false grid, guys.
Well, this is so bizarre because on a cold day like this, one of the things that is really important is to warm up your equipment. Now, the mechanics should have had these things fired, had them in gear, running with the transmission so the engines and everything are up to temp. As a driver now, what do? I mean, your heart's up in your throat. You know, you missed your 2 pace laps, so you're going out on cold tires in this case. And the whole year comes to this one race. This is the most important race these guys do every year, and then this happens.
Well, and if you're a young guy, you're thinking, man, I wanted to step up with a good performance here. I'm certainly not going to have it starting from the back. Dave Weitzenhoff, Tim Miner, 2 very experienced drivers. They're going to have to keep their wits about them. They've got a long way to go if they want to get to the front and see the checkered flag first.
Well, they can work together. They can maybe do it because, remember, Miner was qualified 3rd.
On board the number 29 of Mark Ludwig. He'll start 6th today, or 8th today, I should say. That should be some great shots. Now, that's going to change a little bit because, once again, Tim Miner is not on the grid in front of him. So there's going to be a hole in the grid. They're not going to slide everybody up. There will be a hole in the grid where Miner was.
Missing man formation?
Missing man formation.
There you go. Well, the fact that you got 2 really fast, experienced guys at the back should be really entertaining because if they do work together and not mess each other up, they might be able to get through these guys in a hurry.
Right now, the field getting sorted out. It's a nice, slow pace lap onto the front straightaway. Coelho on pole. Cole Morgan outside. Morgan with a lot of experience, too, but in a little bit older machinery. Very slow start. Coelho bringing the field down. People starting to move. The green flag waves. Formula Continental underway. The 2006 National Championship.
Weitzenhoff hard to the inside at the start will make up a lot of positions from the back of the grid.
This is where everybody needs to behave. Take it easy, but they're not. Impatience already.
3 wide, that's kind of ridiculous. First lap, cold tires, and you see it right there, they're struggling with the wheel. Big slide, good correction there. This is cold tires, and the tires aren't up to temperature. They're not up to pressure yet, so the cars are running a little bit low. It'll take, in this degree of temperature, 45, 50 degrees, whatever it might be out there right now, it's going to take 2 or 3 laps for these to come into anywhere usable frame of mind.
Well, you saw on board with Mark Ludwig, the car in front of him just sideways off the corner. Ludwig there on board with him again. Looked like he had a lot of understeer in the car, Dorsey. He's turning the front tires, but the car is really not reacting the way he wanted it to.
It's totally lack of grip. Now, it's real easy to get rear tire temperature on those 2 pace laps by spinning the tires up, but when you do that, the front tires are not equally balanced to the rear. You get good rear grip and no front grip, you can't turn.
Meanwhile, up front, Nicky Coelho from the pole continues to lead, but great battles further back in the field. You saw the number 16 right there doing battle. Russell Lindemann also racing in Formula Mazda. Lindemann is back up front. Coelho leads.
Smoker
Cole
in the
Morgan.
back. Brian, we got a car losing an engine right in the middle of the pack. We'll get you the number here in a minute, who it is.
And he needs to stay offline. The problem is, Dorsey, he needs to be to driver's left.
That is out the exhaust pipe. It has definitely blown an engine, and it's dumping oil like mad right out in everybody else's helmet.
And he needs to get to driver's left to get to pit road. It's the 08.
Oh, look at
Bobby
the oil.
Caldwell.
Look at the oil on the track. It's all through that last corner. I could see it just dumping out.
Disappointment for Caldwell. He qualified 13th, but his day is done. One of the things that should be noted, these little 2-liter engines in the back of these Formula Continentals under tremendous stress. It's really not that uncommon. See a little blue smoke, see one pop from time to time. Coelho sideways off the corner. Morgan
got a much better shot off the corner for the lead. Takes a look to the inside of turn 3.
Oh, contact. I think they touched there, Dorsey.
Well, if they didn't, it was a miracle. And we see that a lot. Now, it's real dangerous to have car-to-car contact with open wheels, because you know what happens. You get launched and you flip.
Well, of course, the other problem for Morgan, front wings, you got to make sure you don't damage them. You got to protect those aerodynamic devices.
Boy,
Coelho gets loose. They do touch right there, I believe.
If they did, they were both lucky to go on without, it doesn't look like much damage.
In these cars, these Formula Continentals, that corner, turn 3, should be, once things are up to temperature, should be flat out.
Yeah, wide open through there.
Let's get straight down to pit lane and John Bizignano.
Well, we're all trying to look into inside of this Formula Ford engine bay, but Bobby's getting out of the car. There actually is so much oil back here that it almost looks like there might be a hole in the side of the block. Something very unusual for these types of engines. Let me just get with Bobby for a second here. When did you know you were in trouble with that motor?
Coming out of turn 9, there's bad sounds, and I could see smoke in the rearview mirror.
And you couldn't get to the track left. You were stuck on the right.
Yeah.
Well, he's out of the race, guys. A very, very short championship weekend for the young man.
Well, Biz, I think you're right. I think there's a crankshaft and a rod stuck out the side of that one, because it was all coming out the exhaust pipe, the smoke was, and when it first broke, whatever it was, piston or whatever. But at the end, when I saw that oil dump in the last 2 corners, that was clearly some piece got out.
Well, you heard Bobby Caldwell say it made bad noises. For those of you at home who've never been in a car that's blown an engine, it sounds like somebody dumped a handful of silverware into a Cuisinart. Right now, Nicky Coelho continues to lead over Cole Morgan. Interesting to see if Morgan has any type of damage to that front wing. I don't see any, Dorsey, but even if it's moved it a couple of degrees, it will affect the downforce, and the car really sliding through turn 3.
Yeah, he got in there with a lot of speed, and I don't think he was going to make the corner, but he got grip out about halfway through.
I'm not sure if the right front end plate on the front wing isn't damaged or gone. It was hard to tell. The end plates are important. It seems to be gone.
It's knocked the right front end plate off, and that channels air and keeps air from dumping off that side of the wing. It keeps it there longer, pushing down on the nose harder.
Nicky Coelho trying to repeat as Formula Continental National Champion, trying also for the Triple Crown. He won the June Sprints, his division. Can he win the runoffs? We'll find out. Stick with us from the SCCA Runoffs.
Nicholas Belling has dreamed about going motor racing most of his life, and after 2 years and more than 30 starts, here he is in Kansas going for the national championship. Nicholas, how did this all get started?
Well, John, I think racing's in the family. My grandpa, Penty Bark, started the Thousand Lakes Rally and drove in it, and my other grandpa, Hiller Belling, drove the Nürburgring in Germany. And when I saw a car for sale, a Formula car, I bought it. And you know what? This is my 2nd year, and it's sticking with me. I'm not getting out of racing.
Well, it's definitely in the family because his father, Mark Belling, is his teammate here for the national title.
And great to have your father running with you at the runoffs. Look a little further back in the pack right there. The yellow car, I believe, was Dave Weitzenoff, it looked like. But you see the 0 of Belling
Yeah.
and Weitzenhoff on a charge up through the pack.
He's up to 13th from last. Remember, he didn't make the start due to the being off the grid on time, and so he is flying through the field. He's halfway to where he needs to get.
The problem is Nicholas Coelho up front isn't going to wait for him, so Weitzenhoff going to have to do everything that he can do. Tim Miner, that also had the problem. Miner up to 11th, almost to the top 10 right now, so a great run for these guys working on Belling right now.
That was my point with those two real strong guys at the back. Even though they got whatever happened to them, they can work together and they can run through these cars in a hurry. They still probably need a yellow. There goes Weitzenhoff trying to look to the inside for a pass.
That was the number 17 car, Jim Victor, that Weitzenhoff is trying to get past now, working his way up. The question is, Dorsey, these cars are so light, but can you punish the tires in this cold weather hard enough to burn them off in these cars?
I don't think you can burn them off, short of punishing them by locking a tire up and doing a flat spot. You certainly can do that, but I don't think that you'll have to worry about blistering or premature wearing out of the tread with it 50 degrees at best outside.
Dave Weitzenhoff bottled up there through the final 3 corners, trying to find a way to by Morgan. You saw the 0 car. That was the one of Belling go wide there, coming onto the front straightaway. Weitzenhoff now
working a draft. Look at him trying to get up underneath, get a little toe, trying to pop out down here in turn 1. Oh, he hits the curb quite hard.
That upsets the car, but to the inside, Weitzenhoff, experience. Yeah, he's got it. 7 times he's won the national championship. Now 1 spot further up. Moving towards the front, Weitzenhoff has his sights set on the top 10. He's now up to 12th.
Good battling back here. The 0 under fire. Fought that one back.
That was the number 2. Phil Hems working on the 0 car of Nicholas Belling. Belling, that great story here with his dad, Mark. Both of them running in Formula Continental right now, trying to get to a top 10 finish. But this is a field deep in not only talent, Dorsey, but experience. 3 former national champions in the fight today, so a lot of experience in this Formula Continental field, and it runs the gamut from Nicky Coelho, who's a former national champion at a very young age, to Dave Weitzenhoff. You talk about experience. There's not a guy out there that has much more of it, especially in this class.
Well, it's an extremely competitive class, and part of that is because they all run the exact same engine. They all run in a Pinto 2-liter motor, and they can only put out so much horsepower. They all weigh about the same. Now, there are different chassis and different aero packages and so forth, but nonetheless, because of the rules, it's very, very close.
Chris CARLSON in the 73, the white, blue, and yellow car, having a great first runoffs, running 4th right now, under pressure right now from the number 16. That's Russell Lindemann, but a great first runoffs for CARLSON.
Well, that whole thing is for the battle for 3rd, really, since CARLSON's in 4th, but he's not far from 3rd, which is right, the red car right in front of him.
Red car in front of him, Justin Pritchard. Somebody dropping wheels there coming out of turn 2. Pritchard right now running 3rd, another one of those guys with a lot of experience. He was the 1996 Formula Continental National Champion. He also has 2 national championships in Formula Ford. More of that experience that we're talking about here today. And right now, the 73 of Chris CARLSON. CARLSON getting plenty of experience and also plenty of heat from Russell Lindemann right behind him.
Well, I said Chris CARLSON was one of the guys that will always remember this race. Well, he's going to have more than the memory of his first runoffs. He's going to have the memory of such a battle that he's in.
Well, he's got a national champion right in front of him. He's got to feel good about where he's running, but at the same point in time, he needs to feel a little bit concerned about Russell Lindemann right behind him. Nicky Coelho continues to lead, just over a second in hand over Cole Morgan here at the Formula Continental National Championships from Heartland Park, Topeka. The 43rd running of the SCCA National Championships from Heartland Park, Topeka. Formula Continental on tap right now, and a great battle it is. Defending champion Nicky Coelho continues to lead over young hot shoe Cole Morgan. Then former national champion Justin Pritchard running 3rd. That is your top 3, and it is another great Formula Continental battle, another great SCCA National Championship event. We talked earlier about Nicky Coelho wanting to take and capitalize on his championship in 2005 and go professional racing, Dorsey, but that is a tough road to hoe. But no better way to do it than come back and repeat, win another championship.
Oh, we got a crash on the front straightaway. Somebody with a broken left front suspension's up into the wall. That's coming off the last corner.
Looks like it's the number 2, Phil Hems.
Oh, more trouble. There's been car-to-car contact with the 26, Brian.
That's Rick Silver, so obviously Well, I shouldn't say obviously. We don't know it was these two cars that got together, but two cars certainly have damage right now. The left front.
Now we know.
Right there on the front straightaway.
They were drafted. Actually, it was a setup for a draft pass and then a misjudged pop out, and they clipped one another.
It should be noted, I mean, you can get a good draft in these cars. The wings really deflect a lot of the air, as you see Rick Silver trying to get back to pit lane, but as I said, it deflects a lot of air. You can get a pretty good tow. It looks like maybe that's what was trying to happen.
That was just a misjudge on the passing driver, the second car, trying to get a draft, and they made contact right in the straightaway, which is the worst wreck you can possibly have.
Yeah, you don't want to go home and tell your friends you crashed on the front straightaway.
No, that's not a good
Typically, we see that in the corners, but not on the front straightaway, and we're seeing...
That's Rick Silver walking back. He's okay. He's mad. I would be mad, too. I mean, it's unusual to have something like that happen down the straight, but it does happen.
And Phil standing there on the front straightaway going, I don't know what happened. Hands on his hips, dejected as well.
Now, well, they put out a full course caution. I mean, the car's in the wall. It's out on the racetrack. This guy's mad.
And this is going to benefit the likes of Dave Weitzenhoff and Tim Miner. Miner is up to 8th. Weitzenhoff still in 12th.
Well, they need this yellow. I mean, they really need a yellow to get back into the game. And I would think they would put a yellow out because you got this car. Take a look again. Right here, these two cars are going to make contact. And that is at the very far end of the straightaway when these cars are almost at top speed.
It was the right front of Rick Silver into the left rear of Phil Him, so not exactly sure what was going on. A little buffeting, a little movement. Perhaps he thought he was clear, but obviously he wasn't.
You know what they're going to say. One's going to say that the guy who was blocking me, he blocked me and that made this crash. And the other one's going to say, he just ran over me for no reason.
Well, it's a bad day gone worse for Rick Silver. He was one of the cars that was stuck on the false grid that didn't get out and had to start from the back.
Well, that could be the frustration of just what happened at the start that made that happen. I mean, it is really mind-blowing to you. I mean, you lose your concentration when something like that happens, and you go out there and you drive too hard, and I think that could have been a factor.
Well, and that's part of the problem. You don't only have to race the other cars and race the racetrack. You've got to race your temptation to do something foolish. For more on the pits, let's head down to John Bizignano.
Well, just as Nick Corello comes by, we're standing with his father, Nino. He's all alone out there, buddy.
Yeah, well, I like it that way, of course. Scott brought the best competition there is in the country here right now, and we're very happy to be ahead of it. But anything can happen. We're only 8 laps in an 18-lap race, so I'm hoping for the best.
You were saying earlier that he was a little worried about the tires and that it's going to take at least 4 or 5 laps for them to come in. They must be up to temperature by now, the tires.
Yes, and the lap times are there, but from this I'm thinking that there's some debris on the track or there's something going on because they're about 2 seconds. The whole field is about 2 seconds off right now, which means that there must be cautions out there. Just prior to that, though, they were all up to speed.
Well, does this make you nervous? Are you worried about him out there?
Always, every time.
Okay, well, he's doing a good job of showing it, guys.
Well, he has reason to be nervous. The 6-second lead that Nicky Coelho had in hand is now gone. Full course caution because of the problem with Phil Hems and the number 26 of Rick Silver. As they get the mess cleaned up, we'll take this opportunity to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to the SCCA National Championship runoffs from Kansas. The 2006 SCCA National Championships from the start of the Formula Continental race. Drama actually before the start. Tim Miner, Dave Weitzenhoff, and the number 26 of Rick Silver. Late to the grid. They didn't get to start where they qualified. They had to start at the back of the pack. The green flag waves. Nicky Coelho stays out front, but close racing, too close. Cole Morgan gets into the back of Coelho, but Dave Weitzenhoff on a charge back up to the front. And then this, a problem between Rick Silver and the 26. Remember, he had to start from the back, and the number 2 of Phil Hems. They have a problem, and Silver's day goes from bad to worse.
And that brings out the full course caution on lap 8. Now, this is something that Mr. Weitzenhoff and Miner both needed to get back into the game. Now, Miner's up to 8th place. Weitzenhoff is in 12th place, but now they get to get back into the pack, in the lead pack. They can get into the draft again. I'd watch those two guys because they're fast.
And Tim Miner has had a great run going. Like you said, Dorsey, he's all the way up to 8. So hats off to Tim Miner. A great drive so far. We saw that contact. There's Dave Weitzenhoff right there in the yellow number 67. Certainly he has the experience to keep moving forward, but we saw that contact between Cole Morgan earlier and Nicky Coelho. It damaged the right front of Cole Morgan's wing. I would be concerned about the rear tires for Nicky Coelho.
Well, obviously it was that end plate of the wing that speared into the back of Coelho's tire, but I think it would have gone down by now.
Let's check down on pit road with Jim Trado.
Well, Phil Heems is okay. He's out of his car. But Phil, what did happen here on the front straightaway?
Well, it felt just like somebody tapped me from the rear, actually, but now I think about it, I don't think anybody was close enough, so I've got a feeling that something broke on the car. But now there's a few things damaged on it anyway, so I'm not quite sure what broke and what broke when I hit the wall.
So you felt it was your car that had a failure, or you perhaps had contact? What did you feel again?
Probably it was my car something broke on, yeah. But it spun a couple of times. There's some pretty good skid marks on the track there, and I thought I was going to hit the wall a bit harder than I did, so I think I got away pretty lucky, actually.
How's the car?
Oh, it's on the front corner, I think. It'll recover.
Glad to see you're okay, Phil. That's the most important thing.
Thank you very much.
Well, you see Rick Silver walking away. Perhaps Phil will think differently when he watches the race once it's televised, because I think the only thing that broke happened after contact with Rick. I mean, that's what it looked like, unless it broke as they were so close together and then they made contact, but I don't know.
It's hard to call it. It certainly looked like contact from behind. I mean, in the straightaway like that, it's quite rare to have a collision like that.
The only thing I could see happening would be if the left axle had broken or a CV had gone. Perhaps that would have caused the car to skew. We may never know. Nicky Coelho continues to lead Formula Continental from the SCCA National Championship runoffs. We'll be back for more action when we come back to Heartland Park right after this. The SCCA National Championship runoffs, Formula Continental. The green waves. Nicky Coelho brings the field back down for the restart. 10 laps in the book. Coelho continues to lead.
Good restart for Nicky, no question. He's got a good lead already. Got the jump at the start, and that's what you want to do. You don't want all these guys right on your tail going into turn one.
Seems like he caught Cole Morgan somewhat sleeping there, Dorsey. He had a big lead as he jumped off of turn 14 onto the front straightaway.
Yeah, he did. It was a great restart, and I think the rest of the field was caught off by a little bit.
He got a great jump. Chris Carlson got a great jump too. And look at Dave Weitzenhoff on the move, and a problem. We got a spinner.
You got a spinner and almost two of them, and I don't know, that almost looked like there was something on the track.
That's the number 32, Kirk Kinsfater, with his problem there in turn 3. Now restart, Dorsey. They've been under full course caution for a couple of laps. It's cold outside. Are we thinking cold tires?
Well, he's scrubbing like it is. Take a look at this. Dave Weitzenhoff trying to go and spins up in front of him.
Spins on his own.
Yeah, there was no contact, no reason other than cold tires I would see that would cause that.
Now remember, that corner at speed at temperature, when things are up to speed, is flat out, and if you try to take it too soon before you have temperature in the tires, I could see losing the rear end there. Obviously that's exactly what happened, but Coelho already pulling out a lead over Cole Morgan, but a great battle developing in third. It's actually been there most of the day between Justin Pritchard and the number 73 car of Carlson. Chris Carlson doing a great job. Remember, his first runoffs really trying to put pressure on Pritchard. I know that Justin had tested some Hoosier tires earlier on in the year and just really didn't find a tire that he wanted. Looking a little further back, more battles around the racetrack. Why wouldn't there be? It is Formula Continental after all.
Again, we should document the fact that it's unusually cold here in Topeka, so the tire choices that you were talking about just a moment ago are paramount. I don't even know that it's broken to the 50s yet today.
Cars onto the front straightaway. You see a good lineup of cars here. You've got the number 8 leading a gaggle of cars down, then the 00.
Michael Perillo. These guys, pop to the inside.
And side by side into turn 1. That was the 32 of Kirk Kinsfater, the car that spun, trying to work his way back towards the front. Obviously gave up several positions with that spin, and now he wants it back. And a problem for the 73, that's Carlson. He had been running 4th, and he has had a problem well off the racetrack trying to get that Ford engine in the back refired, but a problem for Carlson.
Take a look here. He's under a lot of pressure with the car behind him. Just too much speed, Brian. Car gets out from under him, and now his first runoff memory will not be a pleasure.
Will not be a good one at all. That was Russell Lindemann right behind him. So Lindemann will move up to the 4th spot, and right now Carlson cannot get refired. He's actually taken the steering wheel off, Dorsey. That's a sign that he could be getting out of the car. Yeah. Coelho continues to lead, but
he'd be best to get out of the car sitting where it's at. It's straight off the end there of the corner, and if it won't refire, it's not a good place to be sitting. I'm surprised corner workers haven't run over there yet to assist him and help him push to a safer place.
Justin Pritchard running third. Remember, he had the benefit of picking up a spot before the drop of the green, actually before they even got out on the pace laps, because Tim Miner, who had qualified third, not able to take the green flag in order. But you look a little bit further back as the field shuffles through. CARLSON no longer there. He's stranded on the side of the road. So the second 5 would be Miner, Tim Miner, all the way up to 6. A great drive for him, and really helped by that full course caution.
Well, they needed it. Him and Weizenhoff both needed the full course caution to be able to have any chance at getting to the front pack. Now they had that chance, and in 6th place, he's definitely a fast car, qualified third.
On board for a moment there with Mark Ludwig. Just some breakup on our onboard camera. Would love to see some better shots, but right now a little bit difficult. But great battle happening right here. Looking to the inside. No, not going to happen in turn 5.
You know, you look at this Topeka racetrack, and it looks like it'd be a track that's easy to pass on. It is not at all easy. There's only really about 3 corners where you have to brake hard enough to where you can take an advantage or try to outbrake another car.
That's Ludwig right there in the 29 with our onboard camera. Right behind him, Tim Miner. This is the battle for 5th. Miner on a tear up to the front, trying to make amends for missing the false grid and missing the start. Tim Miner on his way up to the front. Nicky Coelho occupies the top spot. We'll be back.
It's not every day you see Shriners at the racetrack, but for Mark Ludwig, based in the Dallas area, it's more about getting awareness for Shriners Hospital and what these gentlemen do across the nation. Now, Mark, how are you raising awareness, and how did it all really begin for you in Dallas?
In Dallas, it actually began with my dad's business associate, who is a Shriner. He's out of California, and after coming to the track, we decided to get hooked up with the Topeka Shriners here, and there's actually 22 Shriners hospitals throughout the United States and Mexico, and they admit children with medical needs, and the care is absolutely free, and that's the awareness we're trying to raise today, that it's free care for children, and we're just out here to help them with hopefully a good cause, and it's all about raising awareness for the kids.
Obviously, for Mark Ludwig, it's about more than being quick on the racetrack.
Well, and that's what the SCCA is all about. You know, we're not racing for money out here, we're racing for pride. It's about the camaraderie, and it's for great causes like that. Ludwig, though, under attack big time by Tim Miner, and a problem for the 41 car, Brian Bellardi.
Up in turn 1 again. A very slippery corner. If you get to the outside of the middle of that track, the car just quits turning. We've seen it several times. That's early in the corner he spun, though.
Now, remember, Bellardi, the high school football coach, he's got some coaching to do. I don't think that's one that you draw up when you're drawing the X's and O's of a football play out there. That's not exactly how that one should work. Call that one a busted play there, Brian. Back underway.
Yeah, no damage. Nobody got it. The guys behind him did a really good job of reading where he was going to end up. And, of course, he locked down the brakes like you should, and that way the car didn't roll around. Everybody able to avoid it.
A lot of movement there under the brakes. Kind of help but wonder if he hadn't flat spotted the tires a little bit. But back to that battle for 5th. Ludwig still trying to hold the position, but look at Tim Miner all over the gearbox. Remember, this is for 5th position, and remember, Tim Miner started at the back of the pack, only 1 pace lap.
However, he had qualified 3rd, so he's a faster car by that statistic than the cars that he's in with right now.
Ludwig looks to have a little more top speed, but there's a second yellow car in the picture. That is Dave Weizenhoff. He is now moved all the way up to 7th. So Tim Miner, Dave Weizenhoff, 2 guys that started at the back, now occupy 6th and 7th, and they obviously want more, Dorsey.
I can't wait to find out what went wrong with 3 cars, and you see the pass being made right now. Side by side, that's going to let Weizenhoff catch up. You watch, he'll be coming in here now.
Miner looking to the inside. He's looked there before. Is it going to work? Oh,
yes, now he's got it. Oh, and he's forcing the issue.
Next corner's a left-hander. Weizenhoff looking on, and they've got to get through here cleanly. Weizenhoff will get the run.
They're just not giving each other enough room right now. Weizenhoff gets by cleanly because of all this side-by-side shuffle.
Miner slips back a spot. Weizenhoff picks one up. Now, could Dave Weizenhoff do anything?
Well, Ludwig was just really forcing the issue. They're not giving much racing room. I expect when Dave Weizenhoff goes up there, he's going to have the same treatment.
Jim, what's up?
Mike Eakin is standing by. He's one of the helpers along with Dave Weizenhoff's efforts after 35 runoffs. This has to be one of the most eventful. He's been able to chart the progress as well as the rest of the teams, because when he hangs the sign over the wall for his drivers they go past, he's got Dave Weizenhoff updated as to where he's progressed in the race. Now, if you recall, he's one of the teams and one of the cars that rolled off the grid late. He really had to make his charge through the field. I did ask Mike, as he's waiting for Dave to hang on fast, did that caution help you? You said absolutely it helped, but Coelho got a great jump on the race. But Mike, what's your thought on the pace? What's your thought on his pace? Does he have the tires left or did he burn them up?
He has the tires that go for 40 laps. He's Mr. Tire in the United States. He's done 35. We're going for the win and the Hard Charger Award.
That's one way to get the Hard Charger Award.
Yeah.
Start at the back.
Now imagine what he would have done if he had started in his normal grid position of 11th. Now he and Tim Minor caught out, understanding that the SCCA had moved the start time up a little bit. These guys, caught unaware, obviously didn't know it, so they missed the grid. And yeah, if he wins, he certainly deserves the Hard Charger Award. Right now, Ludwig is a mirror full of the very experienced Dave Weitzenhoff. Tim Minor seems to have dropped back a little.
Well, I knew something had. Here we go, up the inside. Good double move, and he gets to position. I knew something had to happen for 3 experienced guys to be caught off like that and not be at the grid. So that's what that's about. Dave Weitzenhoff set that up perfectly. Ducked to the inside. Now he's getting a repass. Side by side.
Ludwig looking.
Oh, they bumped. I think they bumped front tires.
Ludwig in the Van Diemen chassis. Weitzenhoff in the Citation. And
look,
now Minor.
Yeah. Weitzenhoff lost momentum when they bumped the wheels back there going into the bus stop. Now he's side by side with Minor, but he's on the wrong side. Minor's on the wrong side for that corner.
Well, Dave Weitzenhoff was not going to allow that to happen. The question is, can he hold him off down the front straightaway if they indeed made contact? These cars reasonably fragile, Dorsey. You could think that you could have an alignment issue.
Well, you know, we talked about working together to get to the front. That's all out the door. There's 2 laps to go now. They only got 2 laps to get whatever done.
Dave Weitzenhoff, Tim Minor trying to take their 2 cars to the front. Nicky Coelho continues to lead over Cole Morgan, Justin Pritchard, Russell Lindemann, and Dave Weitzenhoff. SCCA National Championships from Harlan Park, Topeka, Kansas. The 43rd time the SCCA has brought out their best to do battle with each other, and right now, one whale of a Formula Continental National Championship race. Nicky Coelho continues to lead, but this is perhaps the best battle on the racetrack right now. Great battle. Dave Weitzenhoff on his way up to the front, trying to fight up to the front, right there doing battle with the number 29 of Mark Ludwig. Weitzenhoff and Tim Minor had to start at the back, and Minor and Weitzenhoff charging up to the front right now. Minor seems to have slipped back a little bit, but Dave Weitzenhoff certainly has not, Dorsey.
Well, he's, if I'm correct, when they go by the start-finish, they're going to get the white flag with 1 lap to go. He's going to have to make some desperate moves if he's going to get that position. He's trying awful hard, though. You can see the car dancing around.
16 laps in the book, working 17. Take a look a little earlier. That's Dave Weitzenhoff on the outside on the left of your screen. Mark Ludwig on the right side.
And Ludwig not giving much room to Dave. See, he's trying to crowd him over and push him off into the grass there. And the front, I think they just bumped right in there. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Dave Weitzenhoff has way too much experience to be intimidated by Mark Ludwig. He said, I'm not going to move. And now we'll see if that Citation that Dave Weitzenhoff is piloting can get a draft and pop down in turn 1. Weitzenhoff all over the gearbox. Can he get it done, Dorsey, into turn 1?
He'll try to the inside. Yes, he's got a good run, no doubt.
Weitzenhoff takes over the position. Tim Minor in the white Van Diemen right behind them. He's been able to claw his.
And off goes Minor. Too much speed.
That was Ludwig.
Ludwig. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Ludwig. Dave brought it right to the outside. And Ludwig with too much speed goes off. He's going to lose that second place, or that position, I think, now to Minor.
Now he'll have a lot of dirt on his tires. He'll take a couple of corners to clean that off. We'll see if Tim Minor can pounce after that mistake.
Well, you would have thought so. He'd do it in the very next corner, but it didn't work that way. But he's got to run here.
To the outside. Meanwhile, Nicky Coelho having it all his way. 5 seconds in hand over Cole Morgan. Coelho in that Van Diemen chassis, Cole Morgan in a little bit older Swift chassis, so a little technology gap there, but Coelho has not put a wheel wrong all race long.
Well, he owns his place. He's reigning champion anyway. He's got the track record on the old circuit. I would dare to say he's got it on this one now too.
Coelho won the national championships at Mid-Ohio last year and won his division, won the June sprints, and if he can win the runoffs, he would do the rare triple
crown, and he's going to do it because he's really under no pressure.
17 laps in the books. This is the last one. Double checkered flags and a double national championship for Nicky Coelho. Flag to flag, only challenged on the first few laps by Cole Morgan. And from that point in time on, even after the restart, takes the checker flag, and there, Dave Weitzenhoff brings it through in 5th from the last row of the grid after missing the start. Dave Weitzenhoff finishes 5th. Tim Miner, a great run as well, to 6th. But the day belongs to Nicky Coelho. A season like this, you do not forget. For more, let's go to John Bizignano.
Melissa Coelho, you have been ripping this hat apart the entire race. You should really need a new hat.
It's Nick's hat.
It's Nick's hat. Well, he's going to be bringing that hat to the winner's circle for the second time.
That's right. 2 years in a row. He worked really hard for this. He deserves it.
What is in his mind right now?
Oh, I don't know. Sheer victory, I guess.
Sheer victory, okay. Well, listen, why don't you put that hat on your head? It's freezing out here instead of ripping it apart. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, that is the first back-to-back Formula Continental National Championship since Lou Rettenmeyer won 3 in a row, 1985, 86, and 87. So a very, very impressive season for young Nicky Coelho. He wanted to go pro racing after his championship last year. Just another mark on the resume that says this young man is for real. The celebrations will be in hand when we come back to Heartland Park, Topeka right after this. The 43rd running of the SCCA National Championships from Heartland Park, Topeka, Kansas, Formula Continental. It was a great one today. Lots of celebrations, John Bizignano.
Well, we're about ready to celebrate down here. Nicky, congratulations not only on a repeat on your championship, but also that you have won the Big 3 this year, too.
Oh, you know, PortFoundation.com car ran great all year. You know, I got to thank my crew, my dad, my 2 brothers, my wife, my mom.
What about the race, mate? Tell us, I mean, thanks to all of them, but what about the race? You had them in your mirrors the whole time. Where'd you get the control?
You know, I mean, all year we had a great handle in cars. Just transferred right over to the runoffs. I knew if I could get a clean start, I could pull away. You know, from the practice sessions and stuff like that, I could see that I was a bit faster.
You were bumping a little bit out there too. It was very close running.
Yeah, I think I got nudged a couple times in the back. So. But you know, normally in Formula car racing, you don't start touching. But you know, some people want to be like that. That's cool. But it was an awesome race. I got to thank the corner workers. Couldn't do it without them.
And you weren't even hassled by that restart whatsoever. Let's go down to my partner, Jim Trado.
Thanks, Biz. With second place finisher Cole Morgan. And Cole, you thought you might have had more for them had it not happened a bit early with the front nose wing, really paying a big price for you.
Yeah, I got a little impatient. Nicky got loose coming out of the chicane on the front straight, and I got to run on him and duck down to the inside, and he moved down to protect his line, and I let him know that I wanted to be there, and I didn't know it was really going to tear up the car this much, but from that point on, it was just pushing real bad. But you know what? Excuses are just that.
At 18 years of age, you'll have more chances, however, correct?
Hopefully. I want to be back here next year. We'll see what we're going to do. I'm not quite sure yet, but I just want to say congratulations to Nicky. I really, really did want to win this one for one of our good friends, David Dietrich. He passed away, I think tomorrow it'll be a month ago, and I wanted to win this one bad for him, but can't win them all.
Better luck next time. Guys?
Well, it's not from a lack of effort that Cole Morgan didn't win. Nicky Coelho never put a wheel wrong, but Cole Morgan, a very talented young driver in his own right, and you heard him say, excuses, well, they're just that. I don't really have any. So I think we'll see both of these young drivers in the future. It was a great Formula Continental race. Coelho and Morgan up front. Justin Pritchard, good podium finish. He's a guy that's won a national championship. Dave Weitzenhoff there in 5th. Great job. Jim Victor down in 10th had a good run as well. And then you look a little further back in the pack, and you see some of the guys that had some problems out there. 25 cars in all, 25 cars finished. Let's get down to John Bizignano.
Yes, mate, sorry about that. Does anyone know what time it is?
1:39.
Yeah. But what about on the false grid? What happened?
Well, I think we were supposed to be there 10 minutes till, so we could be ready to get out on the track by 5 till. And I guess my wife didn't realize that. And I was there at a little before quarter till. We were fine, but she didn't show up till after.
Well,
pretty much
congratulations
everybody
on a great
else left.
drive also. I mean, after that hassle, that had to shake you up, but congratulations on a wonderful drive.
Well, once I'm in the car, all that stuff goes away. You just drive the car.
All right, guys, there's the story.
There were stories all around the racetrack today. Formula Continental, some great drives, some great stories, and some heartbreak as well.
Yeah, and then they're talking about the wife. The wife was carrying the gloves and the helmet, obviously. I think you should have that with you.
Yeah, can't go racing without those. Can't go racing without a good crew. They've got them here in the SCCA. Family and crew, competition, that's what it's all about. For Dorsey Schrader, John Bisignato, Jim Trado, I'm Brian Till. Join us here for the rest of the runoffs right here on Speed.